Hey guys, Nick here with another video. Honestly, there's been a lot going on lately with the Amico. A lot of people have been picking sides and just throwing a ton of hate around, and quite frankly, I don't get it, okay? I mean, on one side, you have people who are fans, and some who are critical. At least at first, and then they got another product, and Tommy himself and changed their minds as people tend to do over time. Some, like Cyrus, are huge fans of the Intellivision just in general, and the fact that it's coming back has him in particular very excited. I mean, it's a large part of his young life, and he has very fond memories of it, so it makes absolute sense that he'd be interested and excited to see it come back. And then you have people like, well, me. Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm Intellicurious. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Alright, you shill. What are you peddling? What the hell is this made-up word, and what are you talking about? It's simple. I'm curious about the system. Never even heard of this one when I was growing up. I knew about Atari, and I owned a ColecoVision, but I never even heard of Intellivision at all. So, I did some digging and found it had a fairly rich history, which I've already covered. I looked up material on the main website and watched tons of footage and came to the conclusion that, well, it looks fun. Now, I still don't know if I want one at launch or if I'm going to pre-order, but I want to see this system come out and I want to see it do well, and I'll tell you why. As a kid, I was lucky. I grew up at a time where video games were new. Nothing was off the table and all sorts of systems and ideas were floating around. You had Atari and ColecoVision, and Intellivision to name a few. Later came Nintendo's NES, TurboGrafx-16, Genesis, SNES, PlayStation, Jaguar, Neo Geo, and the Sega Saturn. Now, think about that for a minute. 8 systems all active at the same time. A variety of art styles, game types, everything was new. The industry was undergoing a massive shakeup and becoming, in a lot of ways, what we all know today. What's happened since then is that the industry has grown massively. Development studios have found certain titles that work and release those year after year. Most consoles have spent less time trying to distinguish themselves as unique and focused all their effort in convincing you that their hardware is the best place to play. It's not to say that there aren't exclusives, but many games feel and look the same from platform to platform, be it PlayStation, Xbox, or PC. We have basically resulted to just counting FPS and trying to decide very minor variances in color palettes to make our choices now. Even the controllers look almost identical over time just because, quite frankly, it works. Then there's the Amico. It looks odd, admittedly, at least if you've never seen the original Intellivision. So does the controller. It hardly conforms to any popular design and just kind of does its own thing. All the while harkening back again to its own history for inspiration, modernizing it just enough to bring new and exciting features to people who are a fan of the original console. It also bucks other popular trends by remaking many of the games that were popular, modernizing them and adding new features instead of just releasing a mini console of great hits. Tommy's team is working to revitalize these games and the brand itself. I honestly fail to see how any of this is a bad thing. I understand if some would be leery about approaching it because you think the price is high, or if you've been burned by another console with claims like this before. I can't help you with the latter, that's a personal thing for each person, but perhaps I can help you with the former by sharing with you why I don't think it's that bad of cost. In an effort to do that, let's take a look at the system that everyone compares it to the most, the Switch. Now, I'm not saying that the Amico is direct competition for Nintendo. Tommy himself has said that they aren't competing directly with them, but there are correlations we can make here, so let's go ahead and get started. The Switch retails at $300 and includes the system itself and one Joy-Con set, which you can argue gives you 2 controllers, but in all honesty, most people will never use them that way regardless, so we're going to count that as one controller. The Intellivision comes in at $250 and comes with 2 controllers that charge wirelessly and the provided cradles in the system, so it's already cheaper with the Switch and comes with more controllers, reducing the overall cost further. Next, let's take a look at games. Not what's available for the system, but what comes with the system. The Amico is coming with 6 games at launch with the system. Average cost of the games is going somewhere between $3 and $10, meaning you get $18 to $60 worth of games when you buy the system. I'd say it'll average around $40 of value, close to the cost of a AAA title. So, the console's cheaper, comes with more controllers, and comes with games included, making it cheaper than the Switch, which makes sense as it's not intended to compete with those systems. So the argument that it's expensive as the Switch is just outright false. So that one's off the list. The other thing I hear a lot is that the games look like mobile games, or that they look too simple. That they're supposed to be simple, that's the point. The Intellivision games are not modern AAA titles that launch. They're meant to play, look, and feel like Intellivision games. The entire idea is to get people a console that's accessible. The games were meant to be intuitive and easy to pick up as a result. That allows anyone regardless of game skill to jump into the game and be able to compete. Think of it this way, you're having friends over to your house and you decide to pull out a board game to play. Do you pick up the most complicated one you own, requiring 30 minutes to an hour a ton to set up, and even more time how to explain how to play, like Gloomhaven? Do you pick up something you can explain in minutes, like Apples to Apples, so you can play something and enjoy time with your friends? Most would lean towards the latter and keep a dedicated group to play the former with. This is no different. It's not meant to replace your current consoles. It's intended as a family system, and the name even means friend. It's something you play with friends. So you're spending less time figuring out how to play and more time playing with friends who come over for an evening and saving the more challenging games for your dedicated group of friends who want to play the same game. The last reason I can give you for people's excitement is that it's not Sony or Microsoft. If anything, they're more like Nintendo, off to the side putting out content they want to put out and letting customers decide if it's for them or not. They aren't touting how strong their hardware is. They aren't trying to put out games like Call of Duty or NBA 2K. They want to do something different, which the market has needed for quite some time now. Let's face it, Sony dominated the last generation with so few new IPs, I could count them on one hand. Microsoft had less than that. Not to say that there wasn't plenty to play, but the big console markers aren't investing heavily in new IPs. The only place really pushing anything new recently is the indie scene, and that's on all platforms as well. There's no console platform that has this kind of potential outside of the Amico right now. Mostly because it's not tied to any franchises from the past, save the Intellivision ones, which are so old now that they may as well be new to anyone who didn't grow up with them. It also brings its own art style and personality, which frankly is refreshing, and will hopefully spark some new ideas in art style as well as gameplay approach. At any rate, I feel like I've talked enough on this. It's just why I'm hopeful that the system will turn out to be something good that people will enjoy. You don't have to agree with me. Hell, you don't even have to like the system. I just hope this video helped make some sense as to why I'm curious about it and why so many are excited for it. Because what could excite a gamer more than helping other people see what they like so much about their favorite hobby after all? What's more precious to a father or mother than time spent with their kids? At the end of the day, that's what I think this console is about, at least for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time, happy gaming!